everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is Congressman Josh Gottheimer. Congressman, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Very grateful.
Congressman, I would love to get your perspective on the situation in the Middle East. President Trump announced that Israel and Iran reached a ceasefire agreement after a tumultuous 2 weeks in the region. And this came after the United States dropped bunker buster bombs on multiple Iranian nuclear sites over the weekend. And then Iran responded with what many have described as a symbolic retaliation on a U.S. airbase in Qatar. The ceasefire seemed shaky at first, but it seems to be holding up. So what do you make of this chain of events, from conflict to U.S. involvement to now ceasefire?
Well, so after 12 days of strikes, as you know, Iran was cornered, and to the point where they agreed to a ceasefire. America's actions after those 12 days attacking the nuclear facilities appears to have been successful based on the intelligence out today. Obviously, we'll continue to monitor that intelligence. But the bottom line is Iran and the government of Iran is an enemy of our country. They've killed scores and scores of Americans, attacked our bases, killed service members, attacked our allies, our critical allies, and we have to do everything we can to stop Iran from having a nuclear weapon and allowing nuclear proliferation, which, as the IAEA, which is a UN body, reported, they were on the brink of being able to break out, meaning to have a nuclear weapon. They were violating their non-proliferation agreements on nuclear weapons. And this doesn't even address the terror threat that Iran poses to the world, and through its proxies, Hamas, Hezbollah, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, the Houthis, and others who've attacked and killed Americans and are as Iran is the leading state sponsor of terror in the world, the terrorist network threatens democracy and our freedom. These are people who have one goal, which is to destroy America. They've been clear about that over the decades. And so this action against our adversary, I believe, is essential to protecting our freedom and democracy.
To that point, if their goal is to destroy America, to destroy Israel, do you think that this ceasefire is permanent? Because President Trump at the NATO summit yesterday said that he believes this war between Iran and Israel is over. What do you make of that characterization?
Well, I think so far the ceasefire is holding. I mean, it's impossible to predict the future. I think Iran has, through the attacks over the 12 days, Israel's attacks on Iran have been their capabilities have been significantly degraded. Not just their nuclear capabilities, but their ballistic weapons and other missiles and other sites. And their leadership has been, leaders were killed, their military leaders, and obviously their systems across the country were attacked. And so I think in totality, Iran, compared to where they were before, compared to where they are now, they're significantly weakened. And that's a good development. And they're not in the position right now to negotiate in their favor, and I think those are positive developments for the United States.
And there have been differing descriptions of exactly how much damage the Iranian nuclear sites have sustained. President Trump said that the United States obliterated them. CNN and the New York Times reported that an intel assessment from the Pentagon said Iran's nuclear program was only set back by a handful of months, and Iran still has a supply of enriched uranium. CIA Director John Ratcliffe then released a statement saying this in part, quote, "Credible intelligence indicates Iran's nuclear program has been severely damaged by the recent targeted strikes." As a member of the House Intel Committee, how can you weigh in here? I mean, how much damage did these nuclear facilities sustain?
Well, as you just pointed out, there's been developing reports there. There's some initial very early reports, and there's more reports out today that they suffered significant damage, setting the program back years. We have not seen that intelligence yet, so I need to see it as part of my responsibility on the Intelligence Committee to read that intelligence. Obviously, I won't be able to talk about that publicly, but those are the kind of questions that I'm obviously asking to understand the extent of the damage. But if it set it back a day, that to me would be a positive outcome, because we got to do everything we can to stop Iran, one of our top adversaries in the world, who obviously is close to China, Russia, and North Korea, our other top adversaries. We need to stop Iran from having and possessing a nuclear weapon. That's got to be our top objective here, and as well as, of course, stopping their terror program in its tracks. So you have, these are whatever the setback to me is a positive thing. The question is, what's the extent of the setback?
And what do you think's next when it comes to diplomacy? Because you said that the ceasefire agreement's a critical first step towards the ultimate goal, which you said here again, Iran dismantling their nuclear weapons program. What is the next step here? And do you think that, let's say it was totally obliterated, let's say it did have severe setbacks here, the Iranian nuclear sites, does the diplomacy hinge on just how damaged the nuclear program was?
Well, I mean, I'm sure you saw reports this morning that the Trump administration plans to meet with the Iranians, I guess, next week. We'll see if that's true or not. But part of those discussions, I assume, will revolve around Iran's commitment to stop their nuclear program from further enriching. If Iran has claimed, as they have over the years, that they're only interested in having a nuclear program for energy purposes, meaning that you enrich uranium to 5%. Right now, there has been publicly reported at 60%, 90% is nuclear weapon capability. If they come out and say, okay, we're going to limit our production to the 5%, that's one thing. But they've said that in the past, and they've lied. They've consistently lied and deceived the IAEA, the world, about the intent of their nuclear program. And so any talks, to me, the outcome has to revolve around what exactly their plans are as it relates to their nuclear program going forward.
And to that point, if Iran has lied and deceived in the past, President Trump said that he plans to talk to Iran next week. I mean, what do you think is going to bring them to the table in good faith? Do you think it's possible for this regime to come to the table to have a conversation with President Trump in good faith?
Well, we'll see, right? I mean, I think it's one of these situations with Iran, you have to, it's as I guess Reagan said, trust but verify, right? Everything they tell you, you're going to have, that's why the IAEA is there, right, as an inspector, because you can't trust them. You need to have outside third parties constantly inspecting what they're doing if they're continuing to move forward with any kind of nuclear program. I think they should fully dismantle their nuclear program, and I think that's what we should push for. They don't need a nuclear program, and they certainly don't need a nuclear weapon. So, to me, what should the objective be? To push them as far as we can push them, and then have systems in place to verify whatever they commit to.
And President Trump said he also believed that an agreement wasn't exactly necessary after these strikes. Do you agree with that? Would you like to see Iran and the United States come together with some sort of agreement in writing?
I mean, ideally, they should get to an agreement. But again, as you pointed out, and we'll see what happens, right? The president said that they don't need an agreement yet. They're meeting with them next week, so I don't know what the objectives are of those meetings, if they are meeting with them. To me, all that matters is one thing. Does Iran possess a nuclear weapon? Do they have the capability to possess a nuclear weapon? Are they on a path to a nuclear weapon? And what can we do to make sure we stop that? Because that can't be allowed to happen.
Congressman, I think a theme from this conversation is there's a lot that remains to be seen. We're waiting on the situation. There's a lot that's developing. Members of Congress are expected to be briefed on Friday with details regarding the strike. And that was originally delayed from Tuesday. So A, what do you make of that pushback? And B, what questions are you bringing to the table tomorrow?
Well, I think, listen, my view was, as much as I believe that the United States and our incredible service members took the right actions in the bunker buster bombs to these nuclear sites, was the right move. I believe the administration failed in when it did not brief the Intelligence Committee, the Gang of Eight, meaning our Democrat and Republican leaders, as well as the Intelligence Committee, Democrat and Republican leadership on the Intelligence Committee. There's an obligation and a tradition to brief the Gang of Eight, as well as then provide intelligence, the evidence and backings to the Intelligence Committee. And I think they have a responsibility to do that, and they failed to do that. And I'm eager to see what they present going forward. I'll have a lot of questions, of course, related to the intelligence and where we're at now, what their intelligence is showing about Iran's future on their nuclear program. Those are the kind of questions that I'll want to get to the bottom of.
And when you do get to the bottom of them, when you do get answers, I hope you can come back on and break it down and give us some insight there.
Most of that will be classified, so I can't come back to you on that. But But I certainly will continue to talk publicly about the importance of this and keep a watchful eye on the intelligence, on the Iran's development of any kind of nuclear capabilities, and doing everything we can to protect the United States, our freedom, and our democracy, and ensure, again, this is really important. It's not just about their nuclear program, it's also about their terror program, and doing everything we can to shut that down.
Well, Congressman, then we will have those conversations. Thank you again for joining me.
Thank you. Good to see you.